Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mother-in-Law Suite podcast. This week, I got a special friend here. I got my friend Yliana. She has a bunch in store for us today. We're going to be talking about music and her band that she has, Swarai. So, how are you doing, Yliana? How are you doing? How you been?
Good. I'm doing good. And it's not a band, by the way.
What is it?
It's a production group.
A production group.
Yeah.
Okay, so specify the difference.
Well, I feel like defined in a way. Like you can do a lot more, I feel like, in production, than a band is
Okay.
more like, specifically other members versus its production's very I don't know, machine automated most of the time.
Oh,
Usually have
I
like
understand what you're saying.
computers.
I understand what you're saying. So
Bands
okay, I
mostly
see
like a
what you're saying.
dudes with guitars and stuff. Not saying they can't do that stuff, but they're more of like the engineering type is more of what production goes into, and and also like more of like it like
And
kind of grabs a lot of the concept. But a band's, I don't know, weird to describe, I guess. I don't know.
I feel what you mean. I understand what you're trying to insinuate. I mean, I always wondered what to call people like the Glitch Mob
Like we
or
don't
things
have
like that. I don't, because I
like a
can't call
lead
them
singer or
they aren't
something.
a band. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Glitch Mob is like all electronic, whatever. I just call them electronic artists or anything like that. But I mean, usually if I mean, a band is like a group of people usually making music, so I just refer to them as a band because there's no other. I didn't know any other term, but now I know production group, so I'll keep that one in mind. That one's a good one. I like that one. You went to Spain, didn't you?
I did. I did go to
Tell me
Spain.
about that.
Um, it was pretty.
Like
I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
it was like a speechless moment. Like, I mean, when did you get over there? How long were you there for?
to be honest, it feels like a lucid dream. Like
You feel like
it's
it was a lucid dream?
yeah,
I kept seeing some screenshots or like some pictures you were posting.
yeah, no,
It looked beautiful.
it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Now it feels like a lucid dream, but when I was there, I went for the summer. So for like 2 months,
Yeah.
from like June to July. And it was like honestly, the best thing that's ever happened to me. I can't, I had no expectations being like, I was like, fuck it, like, I mean, might as well, and
Mm-hmm.
completely changed my mind. And I'm so glad that I did it. It was, I don't know, that sense of like independence, like you're
Just
across
getting
the
out of the
world.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're by yourself. You're
Being somewhere you aren't
meeting
familiar
new
with.
people. Like I
It's
met so
complete culture
much,
shock too, probably, isn't it?
yeah, culture shock. You meet I met like so many people, and it's just so weird. It's so weird because like coming from like a small town, I don't know. There's just so many
Yeah,
people
just
out in the
it's a
world.
scale. I know what you mean. I mean, I remember I went to New York City when I was in like third grade. I think I was third grade. Yeah, I actually had mono when I was in New York City. But I went I went to New York City because we like my sister's dance studio won this like thing to go talk to the Rockettes, like the Rockefeller Rockettes. You know what I'm talking about? The dance group. So they had like a private lesson to go like fly up to New York, like all paid for. They like won something. So we went up to New York and just that's within the country. But like just from me, this little small town guy going and walking around these streets with all of these people, man, like
Yeah.
it was insane. It's like I don't know. It's crazy how many people are out there.
No, yeah, it's pretty it's unbelievable, honestly. Like I remember okay, so like I remember I was in Europe, and I was doing crazy shit because like fuck it, we ball. And
Hmm.
there's just like the amount of people all the time was just fucking nuts. Like at least where even like in the most like I guess maybe New York would be an exception because it's like, the city that never sleeps. But like everywhere else, there's a time and point where there's just like no one on the road. It's absolutely empty. It's
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? Like whether that's like some point in the night or early morning, there's just that point in time where there's like really nothing. There was never that moment. Like, and we went to like different places, and there was just never that moment consistently everywhere. And it was just like always, you will always see somebody, whether it's like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 12 o'clock at like, you know what I mean? Like all the time. And it was just
Yeah.
like, and a lot of people too. And like, it was so weird because like the time zone is completely different, right? So like, it gets like darker later and it
Oh
gets like
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like here in our time zone, it gets like dark around like 7, 8, maybe 6.
Yeah.
Over there it doesn't get dark till like 9, like 8, 9 or
Well, they
ten
don't. They don't
o'clock.
have like. I don't think they don't. I think the U.S. is like one of the few countries that uses daylight savings time still.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the world doesn't use daylight savings time, so they just natively get dark earlier. We just use it because it's like easier for us to work during the day or for whatever. I don't know. It was like something that happened during the industrial period, I think. No,
Yeah.
it was whenever, yeah, it was when the trains happened because it was they did daylight savings times to like to make the trains work a bit better. I think that was whenever they also employed the time zones in the U.S.
Yeah. I mean like it makes sense like why the time zones are the way they are, the sun and all. But like I think like the thing that's like really weird about it is that like since you're on like this different part of the world and the sun just like gets there, like at a different rate than it hits everybody else, it like it kind of fucks with your brain coming from a place that, it gets darker quicker because
Oh, I lied. I lied. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. I want to fact check something I said. Daylight savings time started in 1918 as a war effort for World War One. Continue what you were saying. Forgive me.
no, no, you're good. Yeah, it was weird because it would be like getting weird, like getting used to the time adjustment. It was really
Exactly.
weird because
The
like
jet
over
lag and
here,
everything.
yeah, but like over here, basically, um, yeah, it would get darker here, right? In Florida, it would get completely dark, and over there, like over here, it would get dark and it would be like 7 o'clock, right? And over
Yeah.
there, it would be like 9:30 and the sun's still out. And like that was so weird is that it was literally like I would look at my phone and I would see like 9:30 and the sun's still out. People are walking like it's like I would think to myself like that's just so crazy because like if
So
I
the
was
night that
back
just
in Florida,
the nightlife is just alive. It's a way the nightlife is just
it's just because it
is
doesn't get darker, like it gets dark
yeah,
way later that like everything that we do to like shift towards like the nighttime, they do the
yeah,
same way, but just at a much later time in the day, and it's just like really weird. Like not even just jet lag, not just in general, like that's just their days are longer, swear to God. Like they just have like more sunlight and like having that like adjustment is just like really weird because like I can literally take a nap from like 5 to like 8 o'clock in the morning, to like 5 to like 8 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 hour nap. Wake up and it will still be light outside. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's just so weird compared to like your normal life back here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like seeing that type of like settings, just like, whoa, it's trippy even because you're just like, wait, I'm so like, why is it not dark as fuck outside, you know?
yeah, yeah. Whenever Brady is at, it stays light. Really, really, like it stays light up to like 10 p.m. He said, I think sometimes. I thought that's what he said. I might be wrong,
That's
but
crazy.
whenever like during summer, I'm pretty sure it stays light pretty long up in Alaska. So, um, I don't know. Also, might be speaking out of my ass on that one again, but I think I remember like it's the higher altitudes or like higher you are like latitudinal, longitudinal, horizontal one. You know what I mean. Either way, but so Ilyana, you are a partaker in media of sorts. You like movies, video games, anime, right? Have you been watching, playing, reading anything of recent that has grasped your attention that you would like to speak about?
Um, as a media consumer, if there's anything that I'd like to speak about,
Like you like video games. Do you play Overwatch? Have you been playing any games recently?
um, yeah, I'm playing games, but I've been also just like, um, I don't know. Instead of like playing games, I've kind of like been working a lot, just
Yeah.
doing more like
So you haven't been playing games recently. What you been working on?
just like school, like for school in general. Like I'm almost graduating and like I'm just been doing a lot of shit trying to get my self like set up and stuff, and it's just like going through that like mental state and like finding like some sort of balance is just like kind of what I've been toggling through, especially with like all types of shit, like, but mostly just like shows I've been really getting into. I fucking love TV shows. I like if I can put my time into anything would be like watching movies and shows. I
Yeah.
love that shit. Like with
I mean, what's a show you've been watching recently? Have you been watching anything?
yeah, so like I've been okay, so my parents actually been because I told my parents to watch Better Call Saul and they recently have
Mm-hmm.
finished it and that's all they can talk about right now. And it's so funny because every time like I go home for like food, like dinner and stuff and like that's all they talk about and it's so funny
I
like
haven't
putting
seen it
my
yet. I
mom.
need to watch it. I've seen the first like 3 episodes.
It's so good, bro. It's slow, honestly. Like the first two seasons, I'm not gonna lie, aren't like the most like jaw-dropping, like, oh my God, this is happening right now. But it gives a lot
Yeah.
of context that I think's like really in the long run, you're gonna look back on it and be like, you know what, I actually kind of needed to watch that because
Yeah.
like,
Did you watch The Sopranos? Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
uh, I don't know.
No, no, dang! You should watch The Sopranos sometime. That show's pretty gas. I did. I watched Breaking Bad. I haven't seen before I watched Better Call Saul. I mean, did you watch Breaking Bad? Did you like Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I love Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that show's pretty good too. I got the Walter White going on with my bald head.
Yeah, bro.
I gotta get the goatee. You know what I'm saying?
My glasses.
Yeah. I got a fedora somewhere in here.
Get the white underwear
Yeah. Oh,
and
oh.
the
You
meth
know, I
lab.
got those. I got a
Ooh.
surplus of the white underwear. You know. Um, but so with your school, you said you were pretty close to graduating. How many credits are you away? Or do you
It's
know? I mean, not off the or how many classes if you know. I mean, are you pretty close?
yeah, like less than a year.
Less than a year?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. I'm like a officially I think I'm a second semester college freshman.
Facts, facts, facts.
Yeah, it's not a race, I guess, but
No, it's not by any
yeah,
means. I
but
just personally want to get this shit over with. I'm tired of it. To a
yeah, I
certain
feel that.
extent.
Definitely, I feel like it is a personal race in some cases, and for sure, if it works best for you, then race through it, bro. If props to you if you can. I can't. I tried,
I mean, yeah, no, like
I
school's hard. Like, I mean,
yeah.
school's not. I mean, like, school to an extent, I feel like is somewhat like I feel like I'm not the smartest person. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not
Yeah.
this genius individual. I'm not someone who like has like an IQ of like 4 million or something.
Yeah.
But I think like and I think when people think like, oh, you go to like, this, you go to like you go to college, you go to this, you do all these things. Like I mean, like to me, I'm not. People can say otherwise, but like to me, I'm not. And like the only thing is that I have qualities of like I'm gonna just get this shit done. Like I'm in it. Like I don't get things really fast. I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't. But I had to like sit down and actually like teach it myself. And like to be honest, that sucks. Like that really did suck. But like I had to do
I
it.
mean,
Like there was other kids teaching themselves stuff. Like my family members taught themselves stuff. Like if I just had to teach myself stuff, even though like that's time consuming, annoying, honestly not even like pleasant to do, I just did it because like I was like, I don't know, there's nothing else for me to put my time into that I was like this could benefit me in like 5 years from now, you know? Like this is something that I
yeah.
can actually benefit me in the long run. So it was like might as well put my time into that, even if it is like unbearable.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's admirable. It's a you learned a really good lesson early on, and you capitalized on it.
Yeah, but like I'm not like like you know what I mean? Like I just have like honestly, I feel like anybody with the right tools like could really do this. Like unless like the only
Yeah,
person really stopping you from doing this, honestly, in
is
certain
yourself.
cases, is yourself. Because, like, and it's
Yeah, and I
hard. Like, it
agree.
really is. Like, there's times where I wake up and I don't want to do shit. And, like,
Well,
those
I wasn't
thoughts
taking it
win,
seriously
you know?
before. I was in college before as well. I'm 24 right now. I was in college from 2017 to 2019, and I'm still only a second semester college freshman. I failed like a lot of classes.
Yeah.
I'm like almost a sophomore. So I wasn't trying back then. But like, guess what? I was like, okay, I guess maybe a STEM major isn't for me. I reapproached and reassessed what I wanted in my life. It just, it takes time with people and things. And yeah, like you were saying, like it is, everybody has their own cases. I mean, it, in I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you feel what you understand. Um, Never mind.
No, no, you're good. Um, yeah, no. Basically, like, I don't know. There's points in time, like, throughout, like, the last 4 years that I didn't think that I would get here. And
Yeah.
the fact that I'm, like, this close was kind of, like, actually, in my case, like, disbelief. But,
Well, I'm
like,
just happy I'm doing it again. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel exactly what you're saying. Like, please get that done. Please get it done. Cause like, do not let that go. Do not like let that ambition go away. Cause it took me a while to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that for granted.
yeah, yeah, but, like,
Continue. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
no, you're good. But I was saying like, yeah, like to be in the position where I am right now and it to actually just be like so close. Like it's not as far as it used to be, you know? Like
Yeah.
I remember it used to be like a mile away and now it's like literally like I can see it. Like it used to be a little dot in the middle of the sky and now it's like so close that
Exactly.
I can actually see it. And like that's kind of like sometimes like I don't even believe that I was like that I'm at this point. And like honestly, like you don't have to be really smart. Like you don't have to be like this person that understands it. You just have to be determined enough to like get back on the horse. Like,
Yeah.
and keep going and keep
I
like
just wasn't focused. I disregarded like what do you call it? What do you call it? Like in high school, bro. I feel like a lot of people disregard like work in high school, especially like um did you study a lot in high school and things like that?
Honestly,
Like
no,
when you had tests? No.
no.
See, I didn't either, right?
I don't
But
do
I
anything in
had to
high
study
school.
when I got to when I had to get to college. I had to study, and I didn't know how to study. I didn't know a lot of things on how to do things. I didn't know how the colleges worked. I didn't know how um student aid worked. There was just a bunch of things I didn't get. I didn't understand, right? And I don't know why, and it was because it took me a while, but it was because I didn't focus. I wasn't focusing. I wasn't caring. I didn't want to put the thought and effort towards it because I felt like it was too much work, or it was like I felt like it was too much work for not a lot of payoff. But after a while, I realized I you know I've mentioned it a few times on on this podcast, but I worked like 2 years. I worked for like a 40-hour a week production job, and I hated it. You know, so now I understand if I don't want to do that, I need to focus and I need to apply myself to things that I don't want to do now, so I don't have to do things that I don't want to do for the rest of my life.
No, yeah, 100%. But I think it's also like the thing that I had to like really realize is that like
Yeah,
these skills that everyone talks about, like having dedication, having determination, having these qualities, how you really build them is really making a routine that works for you. And I had to realize that that was what I need to do because there was a point in time where I was failing. I was a freshman doing the same shit that I was doing in high school, and I couldn't do it with the amount of classes
yeah,
that I was doing with the all this shit. Like it was I had to drop classes. I remember my freshman year, I had to drop two classes. On my transcript, I still have two W's. Like, like and it was like in the middle of the semester. Like it wasn't like add drop week where it didn't matter. Like it was in the middle of the semester. Like I couldn't do it anymore. And I had to
yeah.
realize like, okay, if I'm going to continue to do this, how can I build up those qualities? How can I like get to where I need to go? And like honestly, it was building that routine. It was figuring out what is good for me and what's not. What makes me get out of the bed and what doesn't. What makes me
Hmm.
more inclined to get out of the bed and what doesn't. Like does me making coffee in the morning make me like do I enjoy the process of it so much that it makes me like actually excited for it in the morning that makes me want to get out of bed? Or is there a perfume that I really want to wear? Like, oh, sorry, that I really want to
Yeah.
wear? Or like, what is there something that actually makes
I
me
mean,
look
it's
forward
up
to like
to
the next
yeah,
day?
it's up to you to make it's up to yourself to make things. It's up to yourself to expose yourself to things that make you happy instead of sad. It's kind of on the concept of you manifest your future or whatever, but like you don't I'm not saying you like sit there and if you try like really hard you can conjure up anything in your thing, but like if you're aware of what you're doing and how you're approaching your life, like oh man, I like this shirt, and you just never wear that shirt. Does that make sense? It feels like you're starving yourself for that I don't know, what do you call it, that I guess dopamine rush.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but I think it's not about like happiness and stuff like that. I think it's about like creating like healthy boundaries. And like a
Well,
lot of
yeah,
people don't really know what a healthy boundary is or the fact that they have to create their own. And like especially with school, at a certain point we're not told, "Oh, you have to do this by Thursday." You know what I mean? We have to tell ourselves that. And we get told that like our whole lives, like, "Oh yeah, you're going to have to tell yourself that one day. No one's going to tell you." And you don't really work on it then, but you really should work on how you're going to approach that because that is true. Like there's going to be a point where they don't tell you that and you're going to
oh
have to
yeah,
tell
for
yourself.
sure.
And like that honestly, like listening to yourself, making yourself do it actually is really hard. Someone telling you to do it is so much simpler, like easier than you telling yourself to do it. And
See,
like
that's a lesson I learned when I was working in my working my jobs, because I
yeah,
would get in trouble for not doing something, and I'm like, oh wait, I got that's I guess that's my responsibility to get that done now, isn't it? It's initiative is what it is. To like put a word on it. I think if that makes any sense, you have to put the initiative forward to make take that step into establishing that schedule or that date at which you're going to approach or do that task or whatever it is you have to do. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. Definitely. And like setting good habits, like especially with studying, like what people don't realize is like do think like for me, this is how I did it. Okay, I will show you like this is how I did it. I'm not saying you had to do
Hmm.
exactly what I did, but like I had to figure out a thing that worked for me. And like that's what made me keep doing what I'm doing. But I didn't like studying. I didn't like doing shit like that because like, who liked that shit? Like no one does. But I realized there's shit that I did like about the process of studying. Like I liked getting coffee. I liked picking out places that have like cute things or whatever. Or maybe, like this is just for me, but like I was like, if I'm gonna go anywhere, I want to go somewhere where I can like look up and be like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, literally, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. You're putting yourself into an environment that would promote yourself to like. I don't know. It's more calming than something. A lot of and I 100% agree with you. Like I think that's phenomenal. Like I've been trying to do the same with myself. Like I don't like being in my house so much. So I got a laptop so I can go out and study, and you know
Yeah.
I've gone to cafes and I've studied, and I go places. I can go camping now, and I don't really have to worry about getting homework done because I can do it while I'm out there if I find somewhere with internet. Like
Yeah, no, like seriously, it's yeah, like honestly finding a thing that like just that works for you is so beneficial. And it can, and if you're the type of person that doesn't like going outside, you like being indoors, then you just have to figure out a way for you to like actually, you have to really sit down and talk to yourself and be like, what do I like and what don't I like? What gets me going and what
literally,
doesn't get me going? Okay,
ask
because,
yourself questions.
ask
Ask
yourself
yourself questions
questions.
all the time.
Yeah, and like really like reevaluate, okay, well like, and it's really not that hard. Like the tests, I'm not gonna lie, like maybe if you're a fucking engineering major, and I mean if you don't like math, you shouldn't be in there anyway or anything like related, but like it's all possible. It's not
Well,
like
a lot of
extremely
people
like
like
it's just the amount of work that you want to put into it.
exactly to there's a lot of things to keep in mind as well. Like a lot of people don't like mixing work and play. I kind of like math. I like math. I like astronomy, and I like my computer and stuff. But like I don't see. I feel like if I'm forced to do that for like work at some point or something like that, I feel like if I'm going to be surrounded by that all the time, I feel like it wouldn't make me happy. But that doesn't mean I don't want to deal with it at all. Like I study astronomy like on my side. I have a little telescope. I'm taking an astronomy elective at class at my high school. I like reading a lot about like discoveries in science. There was a discovery in like subatomic like quantum physics in 2021, and there's something in this world, real life, a scientific discovery, and they named something a time crystal. There is something that exists in this world called a time crystal. Like what? I think it's kind of cool, and I can talk to you about like how the crystals and like what a crystal is, and it's actually really cool because it's like how it's a really I don't know, it's whatever. I don't want to go into it right now because I'm trying to get to a point, but I feel what you know what I'm saying. Like some people don't want to like do one thing and that's fine, and it takes a long time for you to kind of figure that out. Is all I'm trying to say. Is like if it takes you a while, like that's what happened to me. I'm talking to the audience at this point, but um I agree with you, Yliana. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Um, yeah, honestly, doing figuring out is the hardest part. I don't think anyone really figures their shit out. I don't think anyone can really say what they 100% want to do for right now,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. But just I mean, like you said, be aware of what you like, but just be aware of how like if you would like doing it forever or not as well.
Yeah. But honestly, like that's the only thing that really gets me like doing the things that I'm doing is the fact that I like set like right now it's just so routine that if I don't do it, it's weird to me. You know, like if you
Mm-hmm.
really like make it realize that these are habits that you have, you know, and you can always break these habits the way that you can break any type of habit. And it really is what like kept me doing it is I remember I don't know what book I read that had this in the book, but it really said that like if you want to really change something in your life, it and make it to where it's like a habit, then you have to do it like nonstop for 60 days. And by the end of 60 days, you'll just like you'll know, like you'll just it'll be a habit. And
So yeah,
with anything, like I took that rule into anything, like even with skateboarding. I used to skateboard with my other foot,
yeah,
and I had to reteach myself to skateboard on my other foot, and that was really hard because like I felt like I didn't know anything, like I was completely brand new, like
yeah,
fresh out of like the never skated a day, and I had to like teach. I literally like almost gave up after a week. I was like, I can't. I want to just go back to skating the way I was used to. Like, like why am I doing this to myself? Like, why am I making myself go through this? Like, I should just go back to what I'm used to. And I just kept doing it. And I swear, I think I like after like 2 weeks, I just was like, didn't notice it anymore. Like I just like looked out one day and it just like wasn't weird. Like my foot didn't
yeah,
feel weird, my leg didn't feel weird, it didn't hurt anymore. It just like one day it was just like good, you know? And
yeah,
it was like honestly just like anyone can do these like tricks and habits as long as you just really keep it consistent. You have to really try for like a whole just like think about it in your head like, oh, a month isn't
yeah.
that bad, I could do that. Or 2 weeks, do it for a whole 2 weeks. Like I every single,
Exactly.
and it's harder, it's easier said than done, but like when you scale it down to like a smaller thing instead of this giant ginormous like big monster, it doesn't seem as difficult as it is, and you can
Yeah,
like excel more and do a lot of things.
yeah. I absolutely agree. I've been I try to I did that. I held myself to that kind of motto, or not motto, but that philosophy for the gym and for a little bit. And I went for like almost 5 months, like straight. I like went out almost 3 times a week minimum, right? But I fell off here recently because I don't know. I'm not even going to give myself. I just fell off. So I need to get back in there. But I haven't like gained weight or anything. I haven't like been eating. I actually lost a little bit of weight. I think I lost a lot of like fat, and I think I lost a little bit of muscle. But I've been doing some at home routines and things. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is like the 60-day keep it like the habit forming, kind of like make it consistent, keep going at it. That is the thing. Like with the podcast, this is the same thing. I wasn't really good my first few episodes. You go back listen to them, the audio quality, or not audio quality, but like the volumes, the editing, everything was a bit weird. It didn't flow right. I couldn't really establish the vibe. I certainly don't know what the vibe is today, but like I'm gonna keep doing it, and maybe establish itself later on, because I haven't. Just keep at it. Keep at the things you want to keep at. Keep at the things that mean a lot to you. Just don't psych yourself out. We psych ourselves out a lot these days. There's a lot of negativity in the world, and I feel like it kind of eats at us sometimes. But
Yeah,
um,
no, very, very a lot of negativity out. People are very mad
but
these days.
but on a positive note, I think it's time that we talk about your production group, Swarai. Can
Yeah,
you
guys. So
can
yeah,
you what give me a rundown of how you guys came to be. What's your origin story?
um, so from what I know, this could be different from both of their perspectives, but
What is
Soiree,
your perspective? What does soiree mean to you?
I can start with what is Swarai. Okay, so
Yeah.
Swarai is it's a production group, and it consists of me and my two best friends, Evan and Rory,
Hmm.
and I love them to death, both of them.
They are good people. I know them as well. Very good people.
They're the sweetest motherfuckers in this goddamn world, and I love them with all my heart. And um, so yeah, so that's kind of what it is. History with Soiree. Um, it kind of started as I fell into it. I wasn't here originally. I stumbled into this, and I was
Hmm.
like, "This is fucking good. You guys should do something." And from what my knowledge was, um, Evan and Rory were like I kind of stumbled in when they were making their first album, um, the Lights album, and
Hmm.
it was like the first album they made, and I think it was already like either it was before it was being published, like it was out, or it was like right before, like it was just like I didn't really know about it. It was like in the works, I
Okay.
believe.
Which album was this again? You said the Light album?
The Delights album.
Delights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, what's it called? It has like a green uh cover, greenish.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so like I kind of like stumbled into it, and it was either like so this was like back in 2019, early 2019, maybe 2018. Um, and I was kind of, from what like my knowledge was, Evan and Rory were doing this, like, I guess Evan was doing this, they were both doing it separately, essentially. Like, they were both doing like their own shit. And Rory, or like, it all started, I guess, with Evan originally. Evan got this computer when he was really young from his dad's friend, his granddad's friend, somewhere, his uncle, I don't fucking know. He got this computer somewhere, and the guy that gave him the computer, because Evan's granddad, was
Hmm.
a really like really well known, famous kind of like musician, and he played with like James Brown and shit. Like he was dope,
That's cool.
and what's it called? He gave Evan, not his granddad, but like some friend of his, gave Evan this computer with like Ableton installed, and was
Yeah.
basically like when Evan was like 10 or something, like when Evan was like stupid young. And he since then like kind of was like, he was like playing with it, doing whatever, like making some he like the guy showed him how to use the program, showed him how to use like all the stuff, like this is how whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. And since then Evan's just been like, okay, I'm gonna, he wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do this all the time, this is what's gonna be in. That kind of like goes in, I think, a little later, but he kind of just did it for fun. I felt like he just was like, fuck it, like I have this, it's free, like, you know what I mean, like might as well use it, like why not.
Yeah.
And Rory, I think, wasn't even Rory, I think, wasn't even like playing instruments or knowing music at this point. That I believe. I could be wrong, but I don't think he was playing instruments or he was doing anything until like he met Evan, and then they talked about it, and then um Rory kind of was like, "Oh, I want to learn music. Like this sounds cool as fuck. Like I want to learn how to do this, like how, like, you know what I mean, like how do you, I think Evan like showed Rory his projects, like his stuff, like all the stuff that he's made, and Rory was like, this is dope, like how do we do this, like teach me. And I guess after making so much beats together, Rory just watched him, like just watched him do stuff and was able to grasp what he was doing with everything and was able to just like, be like, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm gonna do this. And eventually, like Rory knew his shit. Like he could open up programs by himself, add add-ons by himself, do this stuff by himself. Didn't need Evan's help. Could know how to like, plug shit into like the thing. Like if there's a problem, he could fix it. Eventually he surpassed to where he knows more about Evan's computer and everything that's fucking wrong with the program, even more
Yeah.
than like Evan sometimes. And so but he's also Roy at the same time has been not only learning the program but like musical instruments as well. Like he's been getting super duper good at the drums. Like he's like crazy good. And
Yeah.
he's been teaching himself, for only teaching himself, for only like,
Exactly.
that's what's like really crazy. Like it's not someone who's just getting lessons that's forced to. It's like someone who's actively going out of their way to teach themselves and stuff. And he knows how to play like the piano, like he knows like how to like, like read music and what the fuck music is. Like it's not like completely like I don't know anything. Like throughout all these years he's been like, Evan has also been excelling since then. Like he was making those beats, and while Rory was doing that thing, Evan was doing his own thing. And they both, I think, just really wanted to make beats together. Once Rory was able to actually like do shit, and once he actually understood the program, they just kind of collided. Really back when I think from my knowledge, I was like this was super back in the day, probably like maybe when they were in middle school, early high school. So they're 2 years younger than me, so
Yeah.
or a year younger than me or something like that. So um
Wow, bro. You know, that, I mean,
and yeah, but like no, so like they were doing that shit, yeah. So they were doing that shit and they just kind of collided, kept going with it, made the first, like, they figured out that they wanted to be Soiree, and
yeah.
Soiree kind of has like two, like it has like like Soiree, like a party, like this is like a Soiree, which I think is really
Yeah.
cool. Um, but
That is cool. I like that.
that's when I became more friends with Evan originally, and that's when I was like, but I wasn't really good friends with them at this time. Like we were just like we knew we were very much like acquaintances, if anything. Like we
Yeah.
knew of each other. We weren't like besties as we are now. And like um I only went to his house one time while like I remember the album was like still being like somewhat made on like his computer, and it was like still like not even like it's all spread apart, it's not composed yet. Like it's all like, you know, all the raw edited like stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember he played it for me and he was like, "Oh, this is the shit that like me and Rory have made recently." And he played me Champagne, and but before then this it didn't even have a name. And I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. Like, this is like the coolest. Like, you made this? And he was like, yeah, no, I made this. And I was like, no, this is like so cool. Like, I was completely amazed. I was like, and he was like, oh, so like, here's our other songs. Like, we're about to release an album. And he shows me like his other songs. And I'm like, bro, like, this is so good. Like, what do you have? Like, do you have anything? Like, do you have like a Spotify, anything? He's like, no, like, we're going to eventually, like, right now we kind of just have like I think they were on like the verge of like getting like their distro kid and like or they barely just had a distro kid or in recent like I don't know. It was like I forgot specifically what happened, but it was either before or after where it was very new or they didn't have it yet to where they didn't understand it. And
Mhm.
so it wasn't really like accessible. Like it was still like either it was already out and I was hearing it out or it was like still in his computer and he hasn't released it yet. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, and he was like, no, like we're, it's in the works and stuff. And I was like, no, this is like really cool. This is like really dope. And at this point, like in time, um, yeah, so like at this point in time, I was like, no, I didn't really want to do any of this, honestly. Like I didn't think about it at that time. I was just like, no, this is really dope. And I knew at that time though, I will say this, I knew at that time I I felt like it deserved more like recognition. I felt like I stumbled upon, and this was also like the time when like SoundCloud was really popping and stuff, and there was a lot of like weird, interesting
Yeah.
sounds coming into like um, you know,
Yeah,
music,
kind of just
and it wasn't just
exactly.
like the regular stuff. And like listening to this shit, it was like I was like, whoa, like this is like I don't know. And I
This is
told
something
my friends
else.
about it. Like I would play it. Like I remember that year, 2019,
Do you
when
know
that
what song it
album,
was?
like I specifically remember 2019 Spotify playlist or like the end of year playlist, whatever Spotify wrapped up or whatever it's called. My
Yeah.
favorite, most listened to song of 2019 was Champagne. My
Yeah,
most streamed
Champagne.
artist was Swarai. I
Let's go.
was hooked. I instantly
Yeah.
like listened to this shit like if it was on repeat. And it was
Yeah.
easy because like I think the reason why me and Evan started talking about it to begin with um is because I was making music videos at this time and point. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to make videos and music videos and shit. And what's it
Okay.
called? And the music videos that I would make, the sound, the music, uh,
Hmm.
Evan was like, yo, you kind of use beats that are similar to mine. You should just use my beats. And I was like, okay, well, like, show me your beats, like, and I'll be the judge. I'll make sure. And
Yeah.
literally the end of that year, it was my most streamed song I've ever listened to. Like, it probably
Yeah.
count for like, not anymore, but I used to count for like 70% of the streams of that whole album is because I would just listen to it on repeat, repeat, repeat. Like I was just the biggest fan. I was like,
Yeah.
this is the coolest shit in the world.
I'm going to play that at the end of this episode. So if you guys are really interested in listening, I actually, I'm going to play it right now after this thing. So if you guys, I'll probably do like a 30-second excerpt of the song. If you want to send me that file after the episode, I'll stick that in here right now. Champagne,
Yeah,
is that the
champagne.
one? Yeah, you can send that to me later on. I'll stick it in. I'll stick it in the episode, like in post. But I'll put it after this, and I'll keep we're keeping this conversation in there too. We're keeping it. You don't know when we're gonna even cut. So, but yeah, no, Ileana, continue with what you were saying though. You were talking about like, um, how Soiree, how you joined Soiree, and you were giving us the kind of preface, the prequel, the then. The past. I want to know the present. Where are you guys at now? What are you guys doing?
So, essentially, like, yeah, so like after all that happened, you know, time is spent. Like, I went to college, shit happened, like I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to focus on other things. And, but I was still like listening to their music. I was still like their number one fan. And,
Exactly.
and I remember like their Spotify only had like two monthly listeners, maybe even one, and it was like me and like someone else, and I'm pretty sure the other person was like Rory, and maybe even like Evan himself too.
Yeah.
And I felt like it didn't get the recognition that it deserved, even being as a fan. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would play it and like I don't know, like if certain people knew it was Evan's music, they would just hate it just to hate it, or there would be people that would be like, "Oh, this is cool," like you know what I mean, like what is this, and or they wouldn't care or something, you know, like they, in certain times they would, but in other times, like most often they wouldn't care, and I was like kind of
Yeah.
upset because I was like, this should get more credit than what it's getting right now. Like it's not crazy, but it's I think I honestly think I sat back. If I'm gonna be honest, I think I just it was a thought that was in my mind. Like this was a reoccurring thought that I felt, and there was nothing I could do about it though. So I was just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, this like I wish it was better for him, but you know, I can't do anything about it. And time passed, like 2020 happened, COVID happened, and what's it called? After that, like I remember like every time that I would go to Evan's house, we eventually became like, you know, I could talk about like me and Evan and Rory's friendship, how we all became closer friends. But
Yeah.
um, music wise, not even like friends wise, like music wise,
They
every
became better
time they
musicians.
became better musicians over time, 100% sure. And I noticed that both of them, like
Yeah,
every
you well,
single
you,
time that
it
I,
was probably cool to see that transition happen live too,
yeah, like
especially
I,
with a band that, like, if you're a fan coming from a fan's perspective, like, I kind of feel the same way, like outside perspective, watching Garrett Govan grow up, bro.
yeah,
Oh my God, that guy, he can lay down the law on that trombone, man.
no, yeah,
Holy
say, shout out
cow!
Garrett.
But continue but just to shout out Garrett, my bad. But but
Shout out to
I
him.
feel I relate to what you're saying though. Just to be able to see that raw talent like really chisel away and like get refined,
No, yeah,
over the
like
years, it's really cool.
that's exactly what happened. I saw that. Like I saw that. I saw Rory and Evan release like songs on their Spotify that I was like, this is really good. Like this is really good. Holy crap, dude. Like this is more than just I remember Evan
Yeah.
showed me Big Bags. That was another song that I was like, uh eventually I asked like, bro, like why are you only making beats? Like what about having people on them? Like what about having like, you know, like people come up and like, you know, working with people. And I remember like talking to him more about it, you know, like what's going on. And
Yeah.
cuz I was like, you know, like I remember listening to Big Bags for like the first time as well and like listening to him like rap or even lyrical production in general. I was like this goes hard. Like this goes really hard. And um this is slept on, like 100% slept on. Like people are sleeping on this. Like there's people that are making music at our like at your age right now that are it's garbage. Like it's really bad. Like this is really good. Actually, like it's really not that bad. And like and I was like, why don't
Yeah.
you make more songs like Big Bags? You know what I mean? Like Big Bags goes hard, has lyrics, it's not just like a beat. And I think more people would fuck with you than if it was just like beats and shit, you know? And
Yeah.
um he was telling me like him and Rory were both telling me like the struggles that they went through. Um they were like, yo, so we thought about that, you know, like we want of course we want people to come here and uh rap on our
But they don't
shit
want to. They
and
don't want to pull. They want the authentic crowd. You don't want to. You don't want to fluff yourself up, and then people fall off because you don't deliver what they think you are. If that's not them, that's not them.
no, it wasn't necessarily it wasn't that at all. It was mostly
Oh,
that
okay.
it was like they were like, yeah, we want that. Like we want rappers to come and like come where we are
Oh,
and
okay.
rap on our shit and singers to collaborate. We want collaborators. That is something that we want. The thing is that we can't find them. Like we live in
Oh, they
Eustis, you
okay,
know, like we
exactly.
can't find
Yeah,
them.
I
Do
see what
you
you're
know
saying. Yeah,
anybody? And I was like, no. And they're like, exactly. And we're like, fuck. And we're like, and so we were like, of course we want to like
I know a few.
work with people and like do shit and do stuff like that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when they told me that, I was like, oh, I bet I know. I was like, in my mind, I was like, I kind of don't know people, like I don't, but I felt their despair at that moment, their disappointment, like.
Yeah.
Um, like, because they tried hitting people up, they tried putting themselves out there before, just them, and they got, shat on. Like they got ghosted, didn't get any replies, people left them on
Yeah.
red, didn't give them the time of the day. So eventually, that really crushes your spirit, you know what I mean? Like that really crushes your spirit.
Exactly.
And they eventually were just like, we're just making it for us at this point. Like we don't want to work with people, like there's no point. And I was like, no, like this really needs more recognition. Like you guys really need to excel in like I think let me do it. You know what I mean? And this there's a point where I was kind of just like I was already promoting them regardless, like as just being a fan of them.
Hmm.
And I was like I'm gonna promote, like, I want to get people, like, people deserve to know about this, and it makes me mad that people don't know about this. And so I was kind of just like, Evan, Rory, like, what if I manage you guys? Like, what if I'm like your manager? Like, what if, like, if we're being honest, like, I did my research, and like, those famous ass, like, rappers and shit, like, it's not just them, they have a whole team. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what if we just make it to where a team and I can handle this part? Maybe you guys are just bad at talking to people or coming off, or maybe you're doing that wrong. I can do that, and like, let me help you.
Let me
And
network for you. Exactly. Yeah.
exactly, and they were like, yeah, I mean, like, why not, like, fuck it. And um ever since then I was kind of just like, okay, yeah. And I ever since then we've just been it's just been going up since there.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's it's really sick. I mean, I'm glad to hear it. You know, it's I I like I said, there's a bunch of like local bands around here, and I've kind of been able to see them kind of grow up, and it's kind of cool seeing them like once and they're not the best, and seeing them later on and they're really really good. Like I love hearing a grow up story, and I listen to a ton of bands on Spotify who get like less than a K viewers a month, way less. You know,
Yeah.
so I respect the grind on up and coming bands. So
And honestly,
absolutely.
yeah, I know, like, it's definitely a grind. A lot of people, and like, it's just it's hard to do, like right now we're just trying to collaborate with as much people as we possibly can.
Exactly.
Do new things, meet new people, try new things.
Hey, I'm not the biggest, I'm not the craziest, but I produce a little bit of music. If you guys want to send me some crazy something, I might be able to send a sample back. You guys could make something with it. I don't know. I play guitar and I do something. If you guys ever want to work something out, definitely let me know.
Yeah, facts, facts.
I play trombone too. Could maybe do a little trombone background. You know what I'm saying? A little bass line, like bow, bow, bow. Like a little funk tune. Be crazy. No, joking. But I mean, maybe. But whatever. Either way. Um. But yeah, no. I mean, we gotta get Roy and Evan on here.
Oh yeah,
Or
most
not Roy.
definitely.
Roy. I can't say his name. I'm sorry. Rory.
Rory.
Right? Rory.
Roar. E.
Rory. Either way, we got to get those two on here. We got to get you on here too. Get a little conversation going about
Yeah.
music.
I'm
But
pretty sure they could probably go more in depth about like what
oh,
they
absolutely.
what they were going through, but
But it'd be pretty cool. It'd be fun. It'd be a fun little episode. We could have a talk. We could sit down. All of
yeah.
us. Talk about some music. Talk about some stuff. Talk about, I don't know, life, whatever. It doesn't have to all be about music. I like talking about the individual too behind it.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, personally, like, I it makes me happy, like, doing the
Hmm.
shit that I'm doing. Like, I'm doing this shit honestly because it makes me like seeing that shit. Like, I remember like I manage their socials and stuff.
Hmm.
And like a week ago, we got a message from this random account. that's like in Florida. I don't know, it's some random account, but it's like a college student. And they messaged us because like it was in our DMs and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, bro, this song, and they sent a picture of the song, slaps, like fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji.
Yeah.
And I remember like I sent that to Evan and I sent that to Rory and I was like, look, like people like your shit, bro. Like people like your
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be afraid of putting yourself out there and like,
Exactly. Every time I see that like plus that green one or green two or green three for plus viewer or something or a listen on my Spotify for or whatever for my podcast getting viewers, whew, I get a little excited, you know.
yeah.
Like, no matter how small the growth, growth is growth. Let it get you hype. Let it power you.
No, 100%, 100%. Yeah, like it was just like the amount of growth like that we've had
Yeah,
is
the amount.
just
Oh, for sure. Let's go. How much have you
so,
seen? Have you seen a lot?
I mean, the
Like coming
peak,
up recently, like I mean feedback is feedback either way, like feedback's crazy, like the fact that you got that comment's kind of crazy too, like just like getting that surrealist moment. Like I remember when people like started like telling me like, hey, I actually listened to an episode of you talk for an hour. I was like, what the fuck, why?
yeah,
you know
yeah.
like so it, I relate. Like I keep on going, keep them going. I'd love to sit down and talk to them. I'd love to sit down and talk to them. Um, do you have any um, like do you know of any other small artists that you've worked with or that you know of that you would want to like shout out or say anything? I like to do like a little shout out about like artists or music that I've been listening to recently, but since like we're on the subject of Swarai and your band, I mean, do you know anybody or anything? You said that you were looking for like collabs. Have you had any collabs and would you like to shout them out?
We haven't had any collabs yet. I will say that like collabs are on the way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
eventually, hopefully, by the next episode, I can be able to collab people that we've already worked with and stuff. But right now, no. But I can
Yeah.
shout out Logan Hawkins. He makes music.
Okay.
Um, uh, what's its fucking name on Spotify? I will look it up. But um, a shot. I'll shoot him out. Shout
You'll
him
shoot
out.
him out. You'll shoot him out.
Shout.
You'll shit him out. Shoot him
Shout.
up and spit him
Shoot.
out.
I actually don't know what the fuck.
What was his name? You said it was Logan?
I'm gonna find the shit. I don't know if it's just Logan or if he changed it.
While you're looking for one,
Oh
I'll go
wait, I
ahead and
think
rattle.
it's Logan
Ooh.
Creed. Yeah, Logan Creed on Spotify. But I'm gonna also be real. I think if we're gonna do a little Spotify thing,
Yeah, check out,
I'm gonna say
spell it
my
out.
personal favorites for Soiree.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Please lay down some tunes to check them out.
I think Big Bags is a good song. You should listen to Big Bags.
Big
Uh,
Bags?
Slim Owes Me Money is also a good song. Very good.
What was that one again?
Slim Owes Me Money.
Sloan owes me money. That one.
No,
Nice.
no, Slim.
Slim owes me money. My bad. My bad.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, yeah, you heard it first, Sloan. You gotta pay Ileana back.
Yeah, for real.
You heard it here now.
But I also just like, I don't know, Other Delights Volume 1. Um,
Other. Okay.
that's a great album. I just would say I like all their stuff, if I'm gonna be honest, but
Can you spell soiree?
Swarai.
Nice. All right. All right. You have any other suggestions? Any more songs?
Um, right now, no.
Nice. Well, thank you. I mean, thank you for coming on and talking, Ileana. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'd like to get something going. I would hope to see some more of you in the future for a potential other episode. We'll try to get that in the works. But is there is there anything else you'd like to say or shout out, or you want to shout out like other socials like Instagram, TikTok, um, whatever? If you Soiree has any other socials, if you have any other socials, if you have anything you want to shout out at all.
Follow Swarai on Spotify, Swarai. Stream my shit. SoundCloud, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok. It's sick buds. Um, SICKBUDS, and
Okay.
Instagram. It's trying to think if it's underscore soiree or if it's soiree underscore. Not 100% sure. It is underscore soiree. So at underscore soiree
Nice.
for Instagram. And if you are a musical person and you like music, doing shit with music, anything about music, want to learn about it, I don't know. Um,
Do you have an email? I can put an email in the description.
yeah, hit our I'll put our soiree email, our Gmail in there. But yeah,
All right.
definitely hit our Gmail up, email us. We'll hit you back, and hopefully we can have you over to our studio and we can make something or do
Yeah.
something. We're really chill and we
That'd be
just
sick, bro.
want to have some fun, you know?
Yeah, that'd be sick. I'd have a lot of fun with that. That'd be a lot of fun. You can do some. I can do some vocals. I can do some heavy metal screaming. You know what I'm saying? I like. I can't do it right now. My throat's a bit dry. It's not very wet. But all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, Ileana. It's always a pleasure talking to you. You had a lot of insight, a lot of good advice, a lot of grind mentality. Let's go. Can continue on with your school. I wish you luck.
You too, my friend. You too.
Thank you. But for the rest of you fuckers listening to I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. That was aggressive. I need to, I need to edit that. My aunt listens to this podcast, and I've been cursing a little bit more, and I kind of feel bad about it. But either way, the rest of you lot, you heathens listening in here, my friends. I'm shutting the door. I'm kicking you out. The episode's ending, and we are done. So remember, this is my house, so you guys got to get the fuck out of here. Adios, au revoir. Sayonara. I don't know. Do you know any other languages to say goodbye in? I'll just say goodbye then.